Hello, good evening. Thank you for attending Open House. My name is Hillary Parsons. I would like to begin by introducing myself. I started working for Childs in August of 2006. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to teach all grades as well as different levels within the grades. I'd like to begin the classroom tour by talking to you about curriculum. The curriculum for your child will include studying at least one American classic, also improving skills on mechanics, usage, and grammar. This is an example of a mechanics, usage, and grammar activity. As you can see, there are sentences that contain many errors, and your child and I will work on proofreading and editing those errors. The idea is that everything we do in the classroom can be applied outside the classroom as well as post-high school. Your child will also work on writing strategies as well as effective research and study and analyze a variety of literature and nonfiction in both the textbook and supplementary material outside the textbook. In addition, your child will work on building on his or her vocabulary. Speaking of the textbook that we use is Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, also known as the HMH textbook. In the classroom, we use hard copies of the textbook. However, an online copy is available to your child by going to the class website. The class website is accessible by visiting the child's webpage, clicking on Departments, English, and then my name. The next thing I would like to talk to you about is the open door office hours policy that I have. I'm available to students Tuesdays and Thursdays during lunch. This is a good time for students to make up quizzes or tests as long as it's within the make-up work time frame. This is also a really good time for students to ask questions about grades. If your child needs help with what we're working on in class, or just simply a quiet place to study, the door is open. Next, I would like to talk to you a little bit about make-up work. Make-up work varies depending on an honors and a non-honors course. Honors students have 1 day for each excused absence beginning immediately upon return in order to turn in make-up work. Non-honors students have until the Wednesday of the next week to turn in make-up work. So for instance, if your child is out this week on Monday, then make-up work is due Wednesday of next week. If your child is out this week on Thursday, make-up work is due next week on Wednesday. This gives students 1 day to remember for their make-up work as well as helps to keep them organized. There are 2 ways to obtain make-up work. The first way is Edmodo is updated daily with what we do in class as well as attachments of any handouts that are provided in class. Additionally, students can come to the make-up workstation. There's a make-up work binder, and the most recent day of the make-up work is on the top, and any handouts and paperwork provided in class is organized among these colorful accordion folders labeled by the day of the week. Also, late work varies between honors and non-honors. Children who are in an honors course get 1 day to turn in make-up work late for up to half credit. Students who are in a non-honors course, just like make-up work, late work is due the next week on Wednesday for up to half credit. The grading scale is divided into 2 different categories, assessments and assignments. Assessments include tests, quizzes, and projects. Assignments include classwork and homework. Some students' strengths are in assessments. They're better at test taking than they may be at taking or completing classwork assignments. Some students are better at completing classwork assignments than taking tests. In order to favor both strengths equally, both categories are worth 50%. Now keep in mind, there is likely to be more classwork and homework assignments than there are assessments. So therefore, the assessment grades, though weighted equally, have more of an impact than the assignment grades do. Also, on some days, students will have the opportunity to earn participation points. For instance, students who participate in study hall, more about that here in just a moment, can earn participation points. Students who are taking a non-honors course also have the opportunity to participate in a weekly study hall on Wednesdays. This is a time when students can earn participation points for completing make-up work from the week before, completing late work from the week before, reading their independent reading novels, or studying for homework, class assignments, or the material that we're working on in the classroom. This is also a good time for students who may leave campus before lunchtime to ask questions or seek help if they need help, knowing that they cannot stop in during lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays during office hours. Students have the opportunity of earning participation points during these study halls, as well as both courses, honors and non-honors, will have an independent reading day on Friday, where they can earn participation points as well. The way that participation points are earned is as long as a student is productive on the study hall days or on the independent reading novel days, brings the novel to class and reads it, there are 20 points awarded for those days. However, when a student is absent, The absence must be excused by the following Thursday in order to be excused in the grade book. So for example, if your child is absent this Friday during Independent Reading Novel Day, the absence must be excused by Thursday of next week. If it is excused, then X will go in the grade book indicating excused. On the other hand, if the absence is still unexcused, then a 0 will go in the grading book. So overall, it's really important that when your child is out to get those excused notes in as soon as possible. Next, I would like to talk to you about late work. Late work differs between an honors and a non-honors course. In an honors course, students can turn in late work 1 day late for half credit. In a non-honors course, students can turn late work, just like makeup work, the following Wednesday, or Wednesday of next week for up to half credit. The grading scale is divided into 2 different categories, assessments and assignments. Assessments include quizzes, tests, and projects. Assignments include classwork and homework. Some students have strengths in taking tests, and they tend to do better taking tests than completing assignments. Some students are the exact opposite. In order to favor both types of learners equally, both the assessments is 50% and assignments are weighted at 50%. Now keep in mind, naturally there will be more assignments than there are assessments, so even though the 2 categories are weighted equally, a grade in the assessments category is likely to have more of an impact than a grade in the assignments category because there is less to be divided by. Extra credit. Extra credit is offered on a whole class opportunity. In other words, what I offer to one student, it is only fair to offer to all students. So if someone comes up to me at the end of the quarter and asks for extra credit in order to bring up a grade, my response unfortunately will be, I'm sorry, I cannot do that because what I offer to you, I have to offer to everyone else. However, extra credit will be offered to the whole class on an as-needed basis. There's also opportunities to earn extra credit no silent passes for participating in the phone shelf. By the door, when you walked in, you probably noticed that there is a shelf that contains numbers. When students walk into class, they're encouraged to put their phone on a number. The idea behind this is to try to eliminate distractions, so text messages coming in or social media buzzing. At the end of the class period, a number is drawn. Whoever phone is on that number gets to choose between an extra credit and a no assignment pass. An extra credit ticket counts for 5 points towards any grade during the school year. A no assignment pass can be used for an assignment in the assignments category. So in other words, classwork assignment or homework assignment. And what would happen is there would be an X in the grade book that would indicate excused, would not help the grade or hurt the grade. So please encourage your children to participate in the phone shelf. Not only does it eliminate those distractions, but they can also earn extra credit or perhaps even have a break from an assignment if needed. I would also like to mention to you about the wish list. There are supplies available to students, including everything from colored pencils and glue and scissors, all the way up through hand sanitizers, tissues, stapler, hole puncher. If you have any of these extra items laying around at home and you would like to donate, I know the students and I would be very appreciative. Some of the materials that we're looking for is copy paper, both plain and color, Band-Aids, pens and pencils, tissues, and notebook paper. On a final note, I'd like to let you know the best way to get in contact with me is by my email. It is my last name, first initial, followed by @leonschools.net. So that's P as in Paul, A, R, S as in Sam, O, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, H @leonschools.net. Please allow me up to 48 hours of school days in order to respond. Thank you for attending tonight. It is a pleasure to meet you as well as a pleasure to teach your child this year. Thank you.